Hello to all you 9th and 10th grade students getting ready to take the Aspire test. I am Mr. Stuber. I am going to be showing you through some of the example test questions for the Aspire test and try and show you how to navigate through the Aspire website so that you can have the best testing experience possible. Your authorization ticket will be given to you by your room proctor directly before the testing begins. Your authorization ticket will have a login and password. That login and password will be used to log into the test and start the test. So once you have gotten your authorization ticket, you will punch in your login and password listed on that ticket, and you will get this screen that is shown right in front of you. I'm going to show you the science sample tests, but you will have 5 different sections. Science will be one of the 5 different subject sections that you have on the Aspire test. Your room supervisor will read to you the directions of the test while you are on this screen. The directions are also here below so you could follow along. Clicking Start Test Now will bring you to this screen. You'll notice it'll tell you how many questions that you have to answer in this section. By clicking Start Section, you will then be launched into the actual test where there will be a timer that starts. So you click Start Section once the room supervisor tells you to, and this is the first question on the science test. Notice you have the timer up in the top right corner. This tells you how much time you have left to complete the science test. This timer started at 2 hours, but that is because this is a sample test. Your timer will not start at 2 hours. It'll start at a much smaller number, maybe in the area of 40 minutes. So in this sample test, you'll see this sample question. The question itself is on the right here. Based on experiments 1 and 2, the viscosity of SAE30 motor oil at 25 degrees centigrade is closest to which of the following? And then there's your 4 choices. This would be considered a multiple choice test question. The information that you need to use to answer this question is all on the left side right here. Notice there's a scroll bar here, so on some of these questions you're going to have to actually scroll down to get all the information you need to make your best guess on the correct answer. The next thing you'll need to do is go on to the next question. These arrows up here will allow you to do that. So you go to the next, and it'll take you to the next question. If you notice, when I clicked on that arrow, the left side of the screen did not change. You still have the same information on the left side. The only thing that changed is the question itself. So they're asking you now another question based on the same set of information that they gave you from question number 1. So as you go through, you'll notice that sometimes the information on the left stays the same, and other times the information on the left changes to something else, like for this question. So now you're in a new set of questions. This is an example of a technology enhanced question. So you have the same set of information on the left. Here's the question on the right, and it's actually asking you to drag these different items into the boxes in order of their viscosity in this case. So again, you'll see questions like this. They're called technology enhanced questions. In fact, the next question is also a technology enhanced question. It asks you to drag these bars to make a bar graph that would accurately reflect the information that's given to you on the left here. So that's another example of a technology enhanced question. You can also expect to see some free response questions on here. So just be aware of that. Now, as you're navigating through the test, there is a really easy way to see how you're doing and how far more you have to go, and that would be by clicking this review button up in the top. So you click review, and it'll show you question by question in this science section how you're doing. Notice we've answered question number 1, then we went on to question number 2, but we have not answered it yet. Then we answered 3 and 4, and we have not answered questions 5, 6, and 7. Questions 8 through 42 are questions that we haven't yet even viewed. So we have a lot of work left to do in this science portion, but this is a good screen for you to kind of see your progress and where you're at so that you can go back and answer all the questions that you've missed. So as you go through, let's just pretend for a second that we've answered all these questions to the best of our ability. We'll get down to our last question, question number 42, and view this question. So now we're on the last question. Let's say we answer B. We're going to click Next. Now here is the screen that you'll get when you're on your last question. It says, congratulations, you've finished the last section of the test. However, it does recognize that we have unanswered questions to go back to answer. So at this point, you have 2 choices. You can either go back and review the answers that they're telling you you have not answered yet, Or you can submit your final answers. If the test is about to end, for example, if you had a minute left or 10 seconds left on your timer, you might just submit your final answers. Otherwise, I would suggest clicking Review Answers. That will take you back to the screen and show you which answers you have to still answer. This is also a good way to go back and review questions that you aren't quite sure on. So going through, I'll go back to the last question. Again, pretending that we got these all done, I would click Next and then click Submit Final Answers, and that will submit my final version. Once I click Submit Final Answers, I will not be able to go back at all and answer any questions that I maybe wasn't sure on or missed. So make sure before you click the Submit Final Answers button that you have answered every question to the best of your ability. So I can click Yes, Submit Final Answers, and there we go. We have then finished the science section of the test. And then you just wait patiently for your test supervisor to bring you to the next test session or dismiss you for the day if it's the last test of the day. I want to show you a couple more things. I'm now switching over. Now I'm in the math sample test. So we're now looking at the math test. This is a free response question. So just be aware that in the math section especially, you'll have free response questions. Another thing I would like you to see here is a calculator. So I would recommend that you bring your own calculator. However, if you have not brought a calculator or you don't have a calculator that is for you to use, you could click on this little icon here, scientific calculator. It will bring up a calculator. You could put it kind of in the corner of your screen there, and you could just go right through the test using the calculator alongside the question. So that's a really good item for you to use. I'm going to move on to a multiple choice question. Here's another multiple choice question from the math test. I'd like to show you this feature here, the Answer Eliminator. Answer Eliminator is a tool that you can use if you're one of those people that likes to cross off the answers that you know are incorrect. So with the Answer Eliminator, you can actually click on an answer and cross it off, meaning that you know it's not correct. So then you can narrow it down to maybe 2 or 3 correct answers, and from there you would switch back over to the pointer to select the answer that you would like to choose. So I hope these features give you a good chance to be as successful as possible on this test, and I hope this tutorial was good and just giving you a good idea of how to navigate through the Aspire test. Good luck, do your best.